among other things, this is the corporate United States flag. It's a maritime flag. It's a flag that signifies something different. It's also the only flag, and I mean the only flag, that you will ever see in a courtroom. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the corporate states of America and to the codes for which it stands, one nation, overruled, in contempt, with selected liberty and contract justice for all.
And I really think that a lot of Americans are not aware of what's going on. But this country, the United States of America, represents 5% of the world's population. It presently imprisons 25% of all the prisoners in the world. This is according to the Justice Policy Institute of Washington, D.C. 2 decades, the government built a prison a week. It was not enough to meet the demands, and of course we know that the private enterprise is in the prison business. Cases often are decided according to the preponderance of perjury. Now that means whoever lies the most wins. The practice of police falsification, this is another quote, in connection with such arrests is so common in certain precincts that it has spawned its own word, testilying. You don't like cops. And I says, yes, that's correct. I don't like cops that lie, especially in court. And the pro tem judge said, he looked at me as though, where have you been?
In the Sparks Municipal Court and sat for a day. And there was 17 cases heard by the judge, one after another. We would grind on and on and on. And out of the 17 cases, only 16 did not have a victim. The 17th case had a victim. A guy beat up his wife. Well, she's a victim. He's bad. You shouldn't do that. So what does the court do? They fined him $450 for beating up his wife, and they kept it. She gets the snot beat out of her, and they get paid. What is it? I mean, what is it? You walk in there and you say, Judge, I don't want this flag in here. Then you got a whole other bag of worms to deal with. They go into their Arrogance 101 training immediately, and they're all over. It's so, I don't know what to do.
We've forgotten the start of this great American experiment. It is the pursuit of freedom.
Right.
We've forgotten that. We've had a truncated notion of what freedom is. Freedom has a foundation under it called responsibility.
Right.
What the hell is what is the Bar Association, Dan?
The Bar Association is, to put it in very simple and very short terms, it's a private club. When you go to law school, successfully get your JD or Juris Doctorate degree, you're then qualified to go and take the state bar exam at any given state in which you want to, quote unquote, practice law. At that point, you take and pass the exam. You're admitted to the bar. You're now a member of the private club. And here in Nevada, the private club's board of directors is the Supreme Court. When the Constitution was written, there was no bar. And so when they put in the Constitution phrases which, would infer that counsel is what's granted to each person who's accused of a crime, the legal profession has seized all of these terms and they've included them to mean attorney or member of the bar, when in fact, at the time the Constitution was written, counsel, it literally defined, was the person that you felt comfortable with to speak for you in a time of distress when you weren't able to speak for yourself. It's just basically a friend who perhaps understood the law or what was going on better than you did. And they've literally seized that term, and they've literally eliminated anyone that is not a member of the bar from speaking for anyone in court in any capacity.
And then they get their little bar badge, and they're officially a barfly, I guess. and then they can go out and put Esquire behind their name.
Yes.
That's a term of nobility.
Title of nobility.
Title of nobility.
Yes.
I don't care for that because they're not
Goes
noble.
back to the, corporate. The state is a corporation. The Constitution of the state of Nevada is, so to speak, the governing document for the corporation, but the Constitution is very unique. It not only sets the rules for the corporation, but it is in fact law. The Constitution and common law are law in this state. However, statutes, strictly defined, are administrative regulations. They have the force and effect of law, but they are actually administrative regulations. And just by that phrase, administrative regulations, they apply to the administration. So in order for them to apply to everyone that's a citizen, they have to get you on board. They do this in numerous ways: business licenses, driver's license, registration for your car, et cetera, et cetera. And so this brings you on board. Now you're part of the administration, so now these statutes apply to you instead of just the politicians and the bureaucrats, which is what it was supposed to apply to. The Constitution is supposed to be a fence built around government to keep them from coming out and playing with us without permission. Instead, they've turned the whole thing inside out, and they've basically built a yard around us and doesn't allow us to do anything without their permission. Well, to have a crime, you have to have some sort of action that involves either the damage to a person or damage to property. That qualifies it as a crime under common law. And that's, when I said the Constitution and common law, those are law. That is the law, and you can't have a crime without a complaining party or without the party complaining about damage to their property, etc. But under statutory law, you can make up fictions, and you can create a crime from nothing. Specifically, you could be traveling too fast when the bureaucracy has said the speed limit on this street is 25 miles an hour, you're doing 35. There's no complaining party, there's no damaged person, there's nobody going to, the bugs on your windshield aren't going to file a complaint. So this enables them to bring you into their corporate court and essentially either, ultimately you could be incarcerated, but extract money mainly. They're after the revenue.
And most people go out and buy one of these silly little attorneys because they don't know what to do and they're scared. So you pay these people, and the minute you walk in the door, it's, yes, I'll talk to you if you give me $1,000.
Yes.
Everything a lawyer does costs $5,000. I mean, why don't they just have a book? They probably do. You open it up, it says charging $5,000 underneath in parentheses to start. And that's what they do. I don't care what it is. You can't go in and talk to them. And so, they charge $250 an hour now. And you can't walk in and say, here's $250. I want to ask you things for an hour. He doesn't know, or she. Absolute. It's just not right. I mean, I'm trying to maintain. There's no reason for our courts to be in the state that they're in right now. They're a money cranking, people eating monster.
Yeah, they're nothing more than a money machine.